Who would have known that this entire time Genos was short for genocide? This video will have major spoilers for the One Punch Man story. We just got this new webcomic chapter and it changed everything. So major spoiler warning, and let's jump in and talk about the brand new Genos, Machine God Genos. This story has taken a huge twist and turn, as the mad cyborg that Genos was searching for, the one that destroyed his village and his family, technically doesn't even really exist. And now, in a way, he is a mad cyborg. As we saw him after getting his new upgrade from Kuseno, he was speaking all sorts of gibberish. It was like some sort of dark poetry, and then he blasts off and attacks Saitama and even knocks Saitama back pretty far. So he got this crazy upgrade, and he is fused with this AI that Kuseno has been preparing throughout the entirety of the story. To Kuseno, Genos really wasn't that important. Even though he's a cyborg with some human emotions and a robotic body, his only purpose was to gather data as such. It turns out that no one destroyed his village and his family. Those were literally just implanted memories in order to send him on this entire crusade to find and destroy the mad cyborg at any at all costs. The entire point was to develop Genos into exactly what he became in order to gather unique data from the perspective of someone who had their village destroyed and they are seeking revenge and they're part human, part robot. This gives Genos a very unique characteristic and properties, and that's what Kuseno was searching for, those unique properties and emotions that an AI or a robot cannot generate. So all of these robots and cyborgs, they're all being monitored. All the machine gods that we've seen throughout the series, they've all been collecting data on all of the battles, all of the S-rank heroes, and just absorbing a great deal of information. Their entire purpose really was to feed into this super AI which Kuseno has built. If you remember in Dragon Ball Z, Dr. Gero used this little insect remote tracking device that flew around, and it was actually observing all the battles and collecting cells and DNA and stuff like that. And it used all of that to create Perfect Cell, who had all of the abilities of all the Z fighters, and he was the strongest warrior until Gohan came along. And that's similar to what Kuseno has been doing here. He's been using his army of robots to collect data and then assimilating all of that data into the most powerful AI ever. And with Genos seemingly unlocking some sort of limiter, which we're going to talk about here in a sec, he was able to defeat the army of Machine God Heart Gears, which was basically an army of perfect cells. Genos somehow was able to break his limit. And so since he won, Kuseno is going to use his body as the host for this AI and make him the ultimate machine god. And that was basically the entire purpose of Genos' entire arc, was to become the most powerful machine god in the end, but be evil and to essentially destroy the world. And now Saitama has to fight him. So they've fought each other twice before, at least 2 sparring sessions, but this third and final fight is not a sparring session. Machine God Genos is actually trying to destroy Saitama, although Saitama is not fighting back. Saitama believes that somewhere inside this AI Machine God Genos, the real Genos lives on, and that Genos has the potential to wake himself up, I guess, which is probably going to happen. I mean, I would hate to see Saitama be forced to destroy Genos. I doubt that's going to happen. I mean, I think the ultimate conclusion of this entire arc is that Genos gets just this super upgrade. He's obviously not going to be on the level of Saitama, but maybe of Boros or something like that. And I want to dive into how this is even going to be possible. How is Genos going to snap himself out of this and retake control? So a central theme of One Punch Man and of the relationship between Saitama and Genos is Genos trying to act more human and act more like a hero, and Saitama teaching him and kind of propping him up and inspiring him along the way. In chapter 155, after Genos had lost and his body was all broken up, he tells Saitama that he had lost the ability to self-destruct. He just couldn't do it anymore. I guess he had grown a conscience that he was a living being and he couldn't end himself like that. To which Saitama has this touching moment where he says, that's because your heart has gotten strong. And this moment, I think, is pivotal, and I think that's why Murata colored it. It was foreshadowing for what is coming now. And that's the fact that Genos has developed a conscience, almost as if like an AI becomes sentient and actually has true intelligence. Like this entire process of hanging around Saitama and being pushed to the limit appears to have turned him into some sort of singularity. And that's what an AI with consciousness, what they will call AGI, that's what it is. It's gonna be a singularity if they're ever able to actually create it. And the theory behind that is that intelligence is only human because intelligence comes from a divine source. We get our intelligence and our ability to create from God. And so that's why a robot or a machine would never be able to like actually become sentient unless it was some sort of singularity. And I believe this is why precisely that Genos was able to break his limit. He is just a machine, but somehow his emotions have given him strength. He has changed. It's almost as if his manifestation, which is the entire theme behind One Punch Man, you know, the crab guy, you manifest what you think you are. And Genos thinks he's a human with a heart. And this has altered and changed him physiologically and allowed him to break his limit and achieve something that is impossible by robotic standards. And I think Saitama knows this because Kuseno says there's no way you can ever wake him up. You know, he's broken, that's why he's speaking gibberish, but he's still crazy powerful, like go have fun, destroy Saitama. Saitama knows that there is something extremely special about Genos. He's growing in human emotions, even though he's a cyborg. And those human emotions are altering him, changing him, and even making him stronger. That is the singularity. And because of this, even though he's crazy and psychotic right now, just going mad trying to destroy Saitama, Saitama believes that if he goes all out, that special part of Genos will eventually take over and he'll be able to regain control of his new body. But even so, Dr. Kuseno says the old Genos is gone. This is essentially the fusion of the old Genos and the AI super system. But Kuseno also said that Genos had a 0% chance of winning against the Heart Gears, to which Genos won because he broke that limiter. And Kuseno doesn't know anything about breaking limiters. He's all about robotics and algorithms and code. And so one is making a huge play on the modern ongoing issue of human intelligence versus artificial intelligence. One is trying to show here that while artificial intelligence is incredibly powerful, the power of the human heart will always be the strongest. So the next chapter we're going to get should be a full-blown crazy fight with Genos in his ultimate machine god form versus Saitama, who isn't really fighting back. I think he's just going to let Genos go all out until Genos recognizes that he's fighting his master, who he loves, and then his heart will take over and he'll like recode himself, rewire himself, and he'll come to his senses and he's gonna have the biggest upgrade of his entire life. Saitama can't really fight back because there's not really any way to repair Genos anymore. Luckily, after the Heart Gear fight, Kuseno put him back together and gave him this new shiny body. But that'll probably be the last time Genos is ever able to repair, because Kuseno always traditionally repaired him after each fight, unless they're able to, like, I don't know, take some of the technology, or perhaps with the AI installed in Genos, he'll have the understanding and know how to create some sort of repair pod for him so he can always get repaired after fights or something like that. But I have a feeling like he's just going to be so crazy strong at this point, like he's not even going to need to be repaired anymore, unless Saitama punched him, or God. And I think as long as everything goes smoothly here and Genos becomes a good guy again, he's going to be so powerful that he may even have the potential to be the #1 hero. If anything, he should be top 3. It's such a crazy twist and turn that the entire story of Genos was essentially a lie, and he was being strung along the entire time just to collect data and push his limits so that it could be fed into an AI system. He was a pawn the entire time, and his entire revenge plot was fake. And so if he does have a human side in him that is growing, I'm sure that would piss him off pretty greatly. But I think we're coming to the climax here. I don't see this lasting more than another chapter or two. It's been an extremely, extremely long arc, and we're dipping our feet into it now in the actual manga, but now the webcomic is kind of wrapping it all up. And I'm wondering if the God arc will be next after this. Genos' story will all be wrapped up. He'll get his final upgrade, and the Monster Association arc is complete. The only thing left really on the table is God, I believe. So, but interestingly, One has barely touched on God in the webcomic, whereas in the manga, it's a huge integral part of the story with tons of imagery and such. So I'm guessing that after this, One moves on, unless he wants to carry on this story for another 10 years or so. But I kind of have the feeling that he's wrapped everything up. Almost all the questions have been answered. I mean, yeah, there's some loose ends here and there, but the major plot points of the story have all been answered after Genos finishes his redemption arc. And so I feel like he's got to get into the God arc next, and that's what I'm really, really excited for. But yeah, crazy developments here out of One Punch Man. Genos has gone evil in his final fight against Saitama, and Saitama will also be pushed to the test to stop him without hurting him somehow. So I'm really curious to see what happens in the next chapter, but I think it's just going to be Genos wailing on Saitama for a while until he kind of snaps to. I don't know what else could happen. That's how One is lining it up, but we'll have to see. I'm Mastar. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one.